Actually, I'm not talking about the Eyeglass Program. Joanne will do that. She'll follow me. I'm going to give you a bit of a history lesson about the first 10 years of Rayjon. In 1985, Ray Wurzikowski and John Barnfield went on a poverty awareness trip to Haiti. They returned home deeply inspired by the experience, and as a result, Rayjon Share Care of Sarnia was born in 1986. The first 10 years were a period of tremendous enthusiasm that resulted in really rapid growth in the organization. People would return home from an emotionally charged trip to Haiti or the Dominican Republic, eager to share their stories about their experience with family and friends, co-workers, fellow students. Presentations were put on at schools and church groups and service clubs. Articles were written in the newspaper, and the awareness was really raised, and people came forward. There was a tremendous interest in going on Rayjon trips. Those returning people from trips became active in the organization as volunteers, serving on the board and on committees, or helping with fundraising activities, or taking on leadership roles. Ray's focus was on sending teams to communities to help with building projects aimed at providing shelter and access to water for areas that lack those necessities. During the first 10 years, there was 6 teams went to Haiti, 1 to the Dominican Republic, and 9 to Latin American countries. John and Maggie Barnfield remained committed to awareness trips. They made it possible for people to experience and gain insight, first-hand insight into the struggles and challenges that people face living in extreme poverty. Initially, they started taking groups to Haiti, and then when political unrest erupted in Haiti, they began taking people to groups to the Dominican Republic. And then when things settled down in Haiti, they started taking groups to both locations on an annual basis, as they do today. In its infancy, Rayjon also became involved in project work. In 1987, they formed a partnership with the Haitian Baptist College to support 3 rural schools in the remote region of Côte-de-Saint-Marc in Haiti. Rayjon's contribution was towards paying the wages for the salary and providing uniforms and supplies for the students. By 1989, they had formed a partnership with Plenty Canada that opened the door for receiving funding from the Canadian International Development Agency called CEDA, and over a 3-year period contributed about $180,000 towards healthcare and education projects in the Côte-de-Saint-Marc region. Then after 3 years, they received direct funding from CEDA. And by 1995, they had established 2 rural health dispensaries, one in Pinson and one in Gilbert in the Côte-de-Saint-Marc region. And they were contributing approximately $700,000 annually towards healthcare and education projects in the community. The first 10 years were also a time for learning. As a new organization, we were learning from other organizations, from experts, and from our partners in Haiti. I personally experienced an important lesson on my very first trip to Haiti in 1987. It was the first work trip, and it was being led by Rayjon. Our task was to begin construction of a boys' home. It was a dormitory for homeless boys that lived on the streets in the city of Cap-Haïtien, that were going to be taken in by our host, Brother Marcel Tremblay. This is our group. We had a huge group at the time. We went with a bit of an attitude. It was our first trip to Haiti, and we figured we could make quick work of this project. After all, we had education, we had skills and knowledge and resources. And we figured, yeah, we can do this project, no problem. We also had a bit of an attitude that, from what we read up to that point, the Haitian people looked kind of backward and probably wouldn't be able to do this on their own. So we went with an attitude of superiority. When we arrived at the location, it was on the seaside. It was a very rocky patch of land. Our job was to bust through the rock with sledgehammers to dig a trench so we could pour cement footings for the walls of this dormitory. So for the first 2 days, we pounded with sledgehammers on those rocks. And we were hot, and we were tired, and we were frustrated. After 2 days, we hadn't even produced one wheelbarrow load of broken rock. All we were producing was sparks from our hammers chipping off the rocks. At the end of the second day, a group of teenage boys came along with armloads of tree branches, and they placed them down on the rocks. Now, these boys were going to become residents of the dormitory. They let those branches on fire and let them burn overnight. And then in the next morning, they took our sledgehammers and they cleared the ash away from the rocks. And after a couple of heavy blows, the rocks shattered into great big chunks. It wasn't our know-how that got this job done. The heat from the fire made those rocks as brittle as a china teacup. And we used that method to clear the several dozen wheelbarrow loads of rock over the next few days. So one of the lessons I learned on that trip is our way is not always the best way or the right way, and sometimes we don't even know the way. But most importantly, what I learned was when we go on these trips, it wasn't to go there to do it for them, but to do it with them and to learn from one another. The first 10 years was also a time of sadness. Rayjon was experiencing health problems that prevented him from going on the work trips that he so much cared for. And in 1989, he succumbed to his illness. One of the qualities I always remember about Ray was his gift for finding the hidden talents in other people and nurturing those talents. And subsequently, he built a core group of individuals that were capable and willing to keep his vision for Rayjon flourishing. And there are people here tonight, including myself, that have remained long-term committed members of Rayjon because of Ray's encouraging influence. I'm going to turn it over to Joanne.
Yeah. I'm much older than Bob, and I know my limitations, so I'm not even going to try and do all this without notes. And I've got a handy helper here, Heather's going to click the screen. Bob's presentation talks about trips and projects during this period. I intend to tell you about the people of Rayjon and what we learned together. As time is limited, I can only include a few of you. In the beginning, Bob asked me to collect supplies for a new group in Sarnia, and my first memory is of a room full of busy people sorting donated items for Haiti. They were so enthusiastic, it was hard not to get involved. They formed a Haitian support group with Brenda Hogan as the chairperson. In 1987, the first newsletter was printed with the objective of raising community awareness about the situation in Haiti. Marge Paisley, who went on the 1986 trip, was the editor. But the situation in Haiti became volatile. President Duvalier was deposed. Violence erupted, and it was not safe to go to Haiti. In 1988, Ray's contact with a new organization called Habitat for Humanity led to the formation of a work team in Peru, a departure from helping solely in Haiti. Bob convinced my husband Tom to go, and of course I went along. Okay. We expected to build a house in a project in the desert. I had no idea the site would look like this. I see John there, he remembers that. At an altitude of over 7,000 feet, I could hardly breathe. Carrying a rock was a major task for us, but the locals did it without puffing. Although we did our best, as we returned home, I felt that we had not accomplished what we expected. But it was a remarkable experience. Bob and Tom returned to Arequipa in July of the same year, and were surprised at what had been accomplished. And when Tom visited again in 2002, he was amazed to learn that there were now 600 homes on that barren piece of land. I remembered a conversation I had with Debbie, our Habitat host, when I was in Peru. Disappointed at our results, I had asked Debbie, "Why are we here? Why not just send money?" Debbie explained, "You are not here to build or to teach them to build. They know how to do that. You are here to convince them that it can be done and that you have faith that they will do it." A lesson learned. We are to be encouragers. That is quite an accomplishment, but there is more. Ray and Millard Fuller, founder of Habitat for Humanity, had long discussions while we were in Peru. Ray was impressed with what Millard had to say. Perhaps that was another reason why we were there, to learn from those who have gone on before. Habitat had a slogan that made sense to us. Action added to faith brings the pieces together. And so it is not surprising that the documents they drew up for Rayjon Share Care in 1988 had a similar emphasis on partnership and faith. And in 1988, two poverty awareness groups, as they were known then, made trips to the Dominican Republic, and the Rayjon mandate was extended beyond Haiti. After Ray's death, I accepted the position of work trip leader in 1990. We went to Jinotega, Nicaragua for a habitat build. The new homeowners were people who had fought on opposite sides during the long and bitter Civil War. Bob was a member of that team, and we had some newcomers who would play a pivotal role in the future of Rayjon. Ted Courtnidge, a good friend of Ray's and his wife Dorothy. Debbie McGill, who assisted Ray. Marilyn Beaubien, who became a dedicated supporter of Rayjon, and a building contractor from St. Mary's, Murray Mitchell. Before leaving Canada, our host in Jinotega told us to put Canada flags on our luggage and be sure to wear a Canada pin. And so arriving at the site, we hung our Canada flag by the door and welcomed all the future homeowners to stop for a visit. One water source served the whole community, and we left funds with another NGO to get a second water outlet there. So what did we learn? Maybe that working together helps healing. Maybe that working together makes us stronger. Or maybe just that it feels really good to help another person in a difficult situation. The Hintertaker group did get all the houses built after we left. They wanted to include us in the dedication ceremony. So this Canadian flag, hand sewn, flew proudly beside their national flag. They did a pretty good job of sewing it. We continue to wear our pins, and work teams hang a Canadian flag in front of their homes, reminding us that when we travel, we represent Rayjon Sharecare, but we also represent Canada. 1993 was a very important year for the development of Rayjon. After the completion of our habitat build in 1993, Murray Mitchell agreed to lead the work group in 1994. And I thought I would have some free time. Rayjon D'Atreville, born in Haiti, but educated in Canada, was hired by Rayjon. Rayjon's influence will be told by others. And a young lad named John Papille in the DR received some support from Rayjon to act as coordinator for future awareness trips. Murray has organized a very busy team in St. Mary's called Hope for Haiti, who are active supporters of Rayjon. Please take a look at some of their displays. Their special project in Haiti has been a clinic in Gilbert, where they built an addition in memory of Murray's wife, Grace. They continue to support the Gilbert Clinic annually. In 1995, we began to develop the Eyeglass Program. Although I took the leadership role, it probably would not have happened were it not for that first clinic in 1993, which Don Bernard organized with the University of Waterloo and Habitat for Humanity. Dr. Brian Bradley played an important role, as did all the many doctors of optometry who taught and guided us and continue to support us today. Our first eyeglass team to Haiti in 2005 included these strong supporters: Ted Courtnage, Dan Shannon, Ben McKillican, Teresa St. Jules from North Bay. Our teams have provided 15 clinics in Haiti and dispensed 5,000 pair of eyeglasses. And working in partnership with our hosts in many countries, our teams have organized 21 clinics and provided vision assessments to over 23,000 patients. There is more info on the table, so please look around at some of the displays. Here are a few pictures of our team and their happy patients. It has been an honor to represent Rayjon and also our country, Canada.